Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Doing well.
First thing is, weren't you on crutches last time?
I was. I've been healed. I've cast the crutches aside. The doctor said, just don't do what you did before to break your foot again.
It wasn't a sympathy thing?
It absolutely was not. I had the wheelchair in the truck just in case I was going through the sympathy thing.
Gotcha. Go ahead and put your phone number down there like we did before, because we're streaming live again. I'll repeat what I said before. I'm sure you've heard this already. I'm going to call after this evening the 6 individuals we put on the short list. The fact that you were on the prior short list does not obviously preclude you from being on this short list. One is mutually exclusive of the other. I've only allotted those people we interviewed a few weeks ago 5 minutes. You probably saw that in what I sent you. Don't take that personal. We just, there's probably not much going on in your life in the last 3 or 4 weeks. That's different.
Oh, no, a lot's changed.
Yeah. That being said, are you ready to move forward? You can give us an opening statement if you want.
I would like that. I was not really as prepared as I should have been, not knowing how to statement last time. But I'm a father of 2. Casey and Riley are my children. They're 7 and 9 years old. They're 22 months apart. They're my wife, and my wife is my wife. I'm a husband of 1, Gabby. We've been married since 2001. First marriage, last marriage, enduring marriage, and it's a good marriage. My parents, as asked before, I forget which member asked, they're both police deputy sheriffs. They were with Miami-Dade or Metro-Dade Police Department for 26 years and 34 years. I did not speak enough about my mother last time. I spoke about my father, how he influenced me. I followed his lead to go to law school, become defense counsel rather than a state attorney. But my mother, she was my rock. She taught me perseverance, consistency, reason, rationality, and more responsibility. And I did not speak enough about that. She was the one that raised me from age 4 until her death. And I was a little boy when she died, my age of 44. I'm involved with the Scouts. My son's a Scout. I'm involved with youth soccer, basketball, t-ball. I rebuilt my first car engine at age 15. I caught my first alligator at age 17 with a legal permit and tag. I was invited to the Olympic trials for water polo in 1979. And as you can maybe remember, 1980 we boycotted the Olympics. But I was invited to Colorado to try out for the Olympic teams for water polo. My parents were divorced at age 4, and the reason I mention that is because I can empathize with single parents. I can empathize with split families. I understand some of their problems, not all their problems, some of the things they face. I lived in a trailer for 30 years in Miami with my mother as a single parent. Been labeled trailer trash. I don't think I lived up to it, but I understand what people who live in middle mansions are faced with, the stigma. I've been a renter. I've been a homeowner now for the past 16 years in Melbourne Beach. And since I've been 15, I've worked. I've worked at being a mechanic for 3 years. I was a lifeguard at Crane Park Beach, at Lake Wahlberg in Gainesville, at a pool in Miami. I've done lawn maintenance. I was a chemist. I'm formally trained as a chemist from the University of Florida. I was a research scientist for Sharon Plow for 7 years, doing research and development for transdermal products. And I've been an attorney for 20 years in good standing with the Florida Bar.
Perfect. I have to tell you, I think I learned more in that opening than in your prior one. I don't know that you were as thorough.
I wanted you to learn things that were not on the resume that kind of fill in the gaps if I could.
Before I defer to my colleagues, what'd you say, a mega mansion?
A mental mansion.
Metal mansion.
Yeah, Gabby, she was the queen of
Metal.
single wide.
Now I understand. Aluminum. Okay, that's putting lipstick on the pig. That's a good spin.
Sure.
Steve, since you were not here last time, I'll start with you to see if you have any questions from us.
Thank you for applying, and thank you for your very effective summary of your life experience. Question from you've got a good amount of experience in government work. So let's ask a question about attorney's fees, which may not come up in criminal practice, but if you wind up on the civil bench, could be an issue.
Okay.
As a county judge, especially dealing with PIP cases, do you think so 2 parts. One, do you think an attorney's fee of between $400 to $600 is a reasonable fee? And 2, outside of relying on expert testimony, how would you go about determining what a reasonable fee is, and what method would you apply in reviewing billing records for hourly billable fees?
Well, when I was
reasonable.
relying on my experience from early on, 20 years ago, attorney's fees were calculated by a lodestar amount and a set fee. And reasonableness in terms of, you can't consult or ask the client if they think your attorney's fees are reasonable, but I think $400 to $600 for, I don't know, I mean, I haven't been up on PIP lawsuits. That seems like it may be a little low unless there was just purely negotiations on the phone and no court appearances whatsoever. I don't think it should be raised too much, but I'd have to review the law on that and how those $400 to $600 fees are calculated.
Yeah, I'm speaking of per hour.
Yeah.
Whether that's a
Oh,
reasonable
per
hour.
Well,
Because I'm looking at you guys.
Kramer's very efficient.
I absolutely have to review the experience.
Flat fee, all cases, $400 to $600.
There you go. Well, I went from
It's a good way to get them out.
175 to 200 when 2000 came about, and for whatever reason, I've had the experience. But you have to review all the factors, the calculators, the experience of the attorney, the complexity of the case, and those types of things. Sometimes, the fee warrants a $600 per hour fee, but in many cases, it does not. Those are things I'd have to sit back and really reflect on and take, rather than just the face value of the billing statement, really go in and look at it a little bit closer.
And the second part was, what method would you employ in reviewing whether hourly billable records are reasonable?
I would probably look and see if a lot of the billable records were administrative, that could be placed off as an administrative type of mailing of letters, correspondences, telephone calls, reception. And also, I'm a little concerned with rounding up to an hour for 5-minute consultations. I don't think that's fair. I think billing should maybe be parsed up into tenths of an hour, if possible, if not a quarter of an hour. That's some of the things I would look at.
Thank you.
Sure.
Timmy?
I don't have any questions, thank you.
Dan?
No questions.
Tom?
Please.
Thank you. You have such a wonderful, varied background, and then you just added, can't imagine, there'd be even more interesting things in your background, but you really let us all know you that wonderful opening.
I have a few things to add if somebody has.
Phil?
Other than making sure, Steve, you're okay, but because the answer $400 to $600 before we get to the hours, I thought we were going to lose you. If you're okay. But seriously, I do appreciate the opening because it has broadened my understanding of it, so thank you for that. And other than that, I have no questions.
Jeff?
What door were you in Florida?
Graham Hall, I was in 3
I was across the hall, across the road from you in Hume Hall.
in Hume Hall.
We were there at the same time.
I was there for 2 years, and then I lived in a fraternity house with 60 crazy, hormone enraged guys. If that's not experiencing.
What frat?
Delta Chi, 6th frat row.
Jeff, anything else?
That's it?
And Captain? No, sir. I just have a couple of questions. When you woke up this morning, you're coming through this is the second time you've done it now, right? Any different approach, any different mindset?
Well, this time my kids were not on spring break down the Keys, so I had to get them up at 6 in the morning, fed and in the tub and dressed. So I really was cracking the whip so we could get Gemini so they could do their morning mile and get to
Right,
school
because
on time.
last time when I tried to call you after hours, I had a hard time getting a hold of you because I think your phone wasn't your phone and the keys or something like that?
Well, my
Your cell phone?
cell phone was with my wife Gabby in Waukee
Right.
State Park. My home phone, you called at 3 o'clock, I answered at about 6 when I got home. Just tell the ladies that.
Yeah.
Not answering the phone at 4:30.
Mike, would you acknowledge that there'll be a learning curve following up on Steve's questions, that those people that practice in the public sector, public defenders, that if they step on the bench and they're having to deal with civil litigation and attorney's fees affidavits and expert witness testimony on fees, would you acknowledge that there's going to be a learning curve if you haven't been in that field in terms of trying to figure out what's reasonable, what's unreasonable? I mean,
Absolutely, but I would rely on other sources that deal with that. David Silverman, Gary Goldslow, the other county court judges that deal with that, and get their take, not subsume and assume what their opinion is on it, but see how they evaluate. So you can get the Reader's Digest version that way, and you'll be able to make your own decision.
Who would be your one county court judge go-to person for anything? Real quickly.
I haven't been dealing with, David Silverman was the only county court judge I've been in front of. I haven't had any exposure to any other county court judges other than David Silverman. So I was in front of him for 6 months and then promoted to felonies.
Got it. Any follow-up questions, Mark? Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I did work for the ticket clinic in Miami, so I would be able to handle an infraction calendar very efficiently also.
That's all right.
Thank you.